Hello my Pookie, I'm sure all of you heard about Tekken. Even I, a person who never touched the genre till recently, heard about it. And so, why not spending a month learning it? With some crazy stylish character and apparently a learning curve that's just a straight line, Tekken 8 can probably vaunt itself of mixed reviews. Let me tell you the rules of these 30 days. I set the time I can play at around 1 hour a day. If I miss a day, I must recover the time before the end. I need to achieve a perfect match, meaning I win a game without receiving any damage. And I need to reach at least rank Garyu, whatever, red. And so the character I picked is Anna. Why? Cause she's sassy. Okay, time to observe the obvious. The game is 3D, but this is weird. Usually, at least the fighting game I played are all 2D. So the classic 9 direction are still valid alongside the side. Also, just curiosity, you know, what the fuck? I managed to win my first match, the other games were cultural investment. Don't know how or when, but I switched character to Reina. There's something charming in her visual. Her traits, personality are really captivating. It's her types. Also, purple and black are my favorite colors, but mainly the types. So, what does she do? Good joke. After a day of training, I'm not confident enough to say I think she has a stance. Also, is it me or, you know, the basic part of the game, the one that acts as a tutor, explain how shit works, telling you what means what, is missing, and is replaced by quick special? Bandai. And now we are actually in rank. It's pretty cool to hear character talking their native language. Season 7, episode 1. Anger Green. Clave is bullshit, lesson learned. Apparently not only Clave, people dislike every Final Fantasy collab. Thankfully I played Street Fighter 6 a few months ago, so I know about chain grabbing, and just to let you know, it works here as well. But you know what doesn't work? Reacting to this guy. To this day, ignoring the bears, he's one of the most confusing characters to follow. I can't even pronounce his name, but it's so unfun to guess. It's not the worst will eventually come. Of course, I was getting my fair dose of beaten up, but I was adapting. No, but jokes aside, I will talk about this more in depth later, but people don't learn, they keep on pressing the same poke combo. I thought June was Jin's girlfriend. Hear me out. If I make the smallest mistake, he's gonna... I'm not making such an obvious joke. Keeping on the stressing, my controller cable is broken, and alright, I make the joke. Alright, let's skip to day 13, when I got my new cable. I have to gain back the lost hours. Yeah, the missing days cause some issues. Alright, do you see this? The shitting rocks pose. Where Reina is in that stance, she can do different moves, and one of the few is my beloved grab. Alright, I know, it's been only a few minutes and we're basically halfway through the challenge. First of all, what kind of gameplay I like? Generally speaking, I go for either high mobility moves or for counterattacks, being able to manipulate close quarters by getting in and out of the enemy range, adding up the spice of possibly being hit. So, who's the crazy son of a bitch around here that does that? Or at least, I think he does. Claudio. No, I'm just kidding, I'm Italian and this name sounds funny. Will it be Final Fantasy looking guy with no personality? Will it be Edgy Ninja? Maybe the Peruvian girl that people play only for the fourth costume? Maybe straight up fucking Chainsaw Man? Decisions. Yeah, it was no match. Playing Lily was enough to make my Windows paper come back from the deepest shadows of my hard drive. But why her? I hear you asking. Why Lily? I don't know, same reason I pick Reina probably. Spend after today in customization. First time I can customize my character so much, that's a great point for Tekken. Now let's see if this compensate... I don't know what to say. The man or the bear joke is old. Time to push some Italian meme. Fight! It's very uncool with the 3D thing and punishing here. And at day 15, I got my first perfect. So part of the challenge is done. Well, I said earlier, time for some mechanics. As you may have understood, I picked Lily for the counterattacks aspect of her kit. She also has some good mobility, but it doesn't shine as much. Let's go over the basic. If you play Tekken, you know where to skip. The 4 attack buttons are 1, 2, 3 and 4. I usually call the movement as numbered, for example 6 is forward and 4 is back, but for the sake of clarity I will call them as direction instead of numbers. Welcome to the French woman bootcamp. She has a stand where she turns her back and gains access to different moves. You get into it with back 3-4. While in stand she has all the 4 attack buttons to use. 1 is a slap, 2 is a slap but with heavy armor, 3 is a follow-up kick, yes certain attacks follow the opponent so they can just circle around, and 4 is whatever this is supposed to be. 3 plus 4 is a backflip and you can also grab while in stance, sense, her neutral 3+4 is a longest hit engager, but the other neutral, even if they combo together, I don't feel that too strong. She can go in 2 stance using 1-2 times. They're usually useful for corner carry or frame trap. Downright 3 is an annoying hit. She has a dash from which she can throw 3 attacks. The most common one is 3, given it's a tornado, aka combo extender, and often leads to a good punish. Her personality resides in this ability, backward 3 and backward 4. Lily spins around and you can follow it up with a jump attack, a low attack or a hit engager. Her jumping counter done with up 3+4. One is also fast enough to trap people that likes button too much, or bait people to attack with hyper armor. Coming out of stance also makes some distance, and with that being so fast, you can actually bait someone into whiffing. A launch with downright 2, or just pressing 2 while rising, this game is fucking horrible. Her kit is 4 times what I said, but that's most of what I personally used during the next 2 weeks. Keep in mind that this explanation was made after the challenge, so expect me to mess up or not use a move at the beginning. He beats my ass, I beat his ass, and now we're friends. Ain't that beautiful? I'm paying more in cables than the game itself. Ignore me talking to my future self. L'editing come sta andando, eh? No! Okay. Remember that my counter playstyle may not work. Not because I fail at applying it, but because the game doesn't want me to. Bruh. My only regret in this challenge was not abusing this move. Loro le sanno fare queste cose, io neanche per sbaglio. Ma vaffanculo! Ma vaffanculo! Oh! No! No! Go to orange on day 20. What the fuck? Liaison fake. Oh, you like spamming, don't you? How do you feel about low attacks now? Now that I got to Destroyer, I finally have Goryo in sight. Era un basso. Okay, let me rant about King for a second. I don't like the grappler archetype, okay? It's not my style, it doesn't interest me, and I find it unfun to use and go against. Okay, so King is Tekken's grappler, at least in Tekken 8. And the fun factor of a human body with a roaring head dies after the third grab in about 10 seconds. Mathematically speaking, the chance of an enemy using a run attack move again is quite low, given the whole amount of just mentioned move. Unfortunately, my enemy decides to do it, the aftermath of the event was quite catastrophic. Now that it's relevant, I wonder if there is a possibility of ending a match in a tie. My bad for not expecting it, Bandai. Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He did a perfect on Clive, and that's actually something interesting. During the next remaining days, I managed to hit many perfect games. The higher I was getting into the ranks, the easier it was to get one. I think it's for the logic of there is no counterplay if the opponent doesn't have a game plan. And also, people do not adapt. You know what I'm talking about. Repeats on using the same move or special move, the combo stays the same even if against the wall. You look out for eventual pattern in the opponent's move. I usually follow up with a B2 after a low attack. I know I do, and I can afford it because it's not catastrophic. If it gets blocked, it has a good follow-up. But if that gets blocked as well, I'm kinda fucked. No one waits or tries to understand the reason behind certain attack patterns being thrown at them in a specific way. So this is something I also notice while playing, and the community often talks about. And to some extent I feel like they're right. The game is purely offensive. Not 100% of course, but mostly is. Being neutral is kinda hard with stuff hitting at around 5 frames or 7 frames. There's no playing in an offensive style, cause why would you? And I'm not referring to backing off or trying to get yourself out of the corner. Mid-screen, you and the enemy, why would you defend instead of attacking? Sure, you may know frame data, so block and punish instead of attacking head-on. But what if the first hit is a low? A follow-up low, a mobility move, and they drift into another map? The concept of turn is simple. You're attacking, it's your turn. You don't want to give it up, but there's a limit to what you can do. You can get your turn back by hitting first, and then from there you repeat the cycle. But where's my medal saying, good, you read the opponent, now you can break his ass? If something happens, I am the one that's gonna lose 30% bar worth of damage after a wrong read. Take the bear for example. This was the first time I ever went against him. So with no knowledge, the animations aren't clear enough to understand what he's doing, and from my perspective I got nuked out of the blue. Okay, but it's fine, but enough of me ranting, let's get back to the joke. By the way, answering to the question I made up earlier, yes, you can end the match in a tie. Double KO. Ehi, non ho idea di cosa ho fatto, però ho vinto, sono fortissimo. I actually believe this is what people think when I ask them to go eat sushi, you know, the very slow response. How is this a high attack, but this is a mid attack? I can't stop complaining, cause the game itself is a fucking complaint. With full offense, why? You must really like Beyblade to fight like this. The first one that whines about me spamming pokes gonna find himself without his foreskin. In case you don't have it, you'll grow one. This is basically Elfet in Tekken. And today I forgot to start OBS. Oopsie. Ah. It's official, guys. Slow is the worst character in the game. Rank by rank, I start to find stronger opponent, and you will say no shit. But there's a difference between losing and getting steamrolled. Eventually, I got the hang of it. Unfortunately, I suffer from aura farming when I think I'll win, so I lose the match in an imbecile way. Nice. No, I did it first. Ow! I managed to score as perfect against my first purple rank opponent. Then he cheated on me on the next round, but that's no matter. Ancora Messi.
Round 3.
That was a fucking flash, god damn! To be honest, there were skill checks where I didn't manage to adapt in time, but still, that's learning. Eh? What? Played story mode and understood shit. Anyway, I just want to say this game, more than others, has so many comeback possibilities. No matter how low you are, you can, sometimes, make a dramatic 1 HP comeback. Slowly coming up. Maybe it's just me, but pressing button feels harder than usual. But in Tekken it feels harder to buffer attack or pressing certain button at the same time. Nice. Promotion chance. That was a promotion. Nice. Mighty Ruler. GG. Play the next game as well. Oh, never mind. He killed it, lol. Bandai, take my money! Please take my money! 30 days finished. Here's a tier list of what I think about the characters. But now let's talk about the game. It's good. The overall time spent was actually really enjoyable. I enjoy learning it, most of the characters have a personality or at least interesting interaction. The community is hella active with discussion I did not join but still read. It's complicated to play but not hard. You need to know and keep in mind many things. Thankfully this is not a 2 vs 2 or a 3 vs 3, so you need to focus only on the opponent's character. And knowing what a character does, it's really important. Knowledge often gets rewarded, if you don't get smashed to death of course. To commemorate this day, voila! I refrained myself from this joke. Lily is apparently a minor, my bad. I just wanted a cupcake. So, where's Tekken in the list of my most liked fighting games? I'd say second place. Strive was the first one, followed by Tekken 8, then Grand Blue Fantasy vs Rising, alongside Skullgirl's second anchor, and followed by a lot of empty rows, there's Street Fighter. This series will keep going, probably on a 10 days format, so it's more doable for me. But now that me and some friends are getting into game development, money aren't exactly visible anywhere near me. I do programming and 3D, if you know 3D you know how much that costs by itself. Keep tuned, because by the end of the year I will still play Mortal Kombat, and a few others actually. If you're curious about the other fighting games, you can check out the Guilty Gear Strive video and the Grand Blue Fantasy one. My name is Tyblock, and see you in the next video.